Hey guys, just a quick one today. I've got an appointment really soon, and I was just thinking about the last video I did. I was in a bit of a state, which, you know, we all go through different ways of coping, and I thought maybe it was, you know, a good thing to be able to kind of record that and show you guys. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about what I talked about last week, which was some coping strategies. So the last week I showed you guys a meditation and mindfulness exercise. And this week I wanted to talk about the different types of coping strategies. So we have calming strategies. Calming strategies are things like taking a bath, you know, doing some, I mean, mindfulness comes into its own category, but, you know, some kind of breathing, or even, you know, singing a song can be calming, listening to music. You've got distraction techniques. Distraction techniques are like, you know, when you do that mindful coloring and stuff like that. Cleaning is so therapeutic, because once you see it all clean, you think, oh, I mean, it's like immediate progress, you know. There were dishes, now there aren't. Well, they're still there, they're just clean. So yeah, distraction techniques are fantastic. Now, we're not looking at distraction techniques like escapism techniques. Now, they can often be confused, like when you break up with someone and you're really, you know, stressed and anxious, and you think, I might distract myself with another boy, right? and or girl, and that person, the new person, you know, may or may not be a healthy person, and sometimes we look at that as distraction, but it's actually not the right kind of distraction that I'm really talking about. When you want to distract yourself from immediate you know, negative self-talk, you know, traumatic flashbacks and memories and things like that, you really want to use something that's moving with your hands. Exercise is a great distraction, and it offers that, you know, those positive endorphins and things like that. So anything that really kind of offers an action could be a really good distraction technique. And the calming techniques are, you know, you can use sensory toys and things like that. Anything that really soothes you, a warming blanket, a teddy, you know, maybe a chat on the phone, anything that soothes you. You guys know specifically what distracts you positively, what soothes you. Then you've got meditation, mindfulness. So meditation is all about breathing techniques. Now, sometimes meditation can be quiet, you know, you can just sit there within your thoughts if you're able to do that. Sometimes meditation can be, you know, you go onto YouTube and you get a meditation where they're actually walking you through it. I find them sometimes helpful as well. I really like the American flutes. Oh gosh, beautiful, with the rainstorm in the background. Oh, it just makes me like, oh. And then you've got mindfulness. So I showed you guys the 5 senses, or 5 things, mindfulness exercise last week. You can do stuff like, oh gosh, it was mind-blowing. I got a raisin once and I put it in my mouth and I did a mindfulness exercise. And the mindfulness exercise was, instead of just eating it, as we do, I kind of sat with that raisin, me and the raisin, we became one. And I just felt it on my tongue, and I felt all the grooves, and it was kind of like all the little lives that the raisin had lived. Anyway, you know, and the taste was quite intense, because I never really had a raisin sit in my mouth for that long. I really enjoyed the moment. It was the most interesting and memorable raisin moment I've ever had. Don't think I've ever had any memorable raisin moments, but that was one. That was one. So, you know, that's always something to kind of think on. How can you be more in this moment? And that's what mindfulness is all about, being present. Because our brain doesn't really multitask. We just kind of split it into different sections. So you're just doing 2 things poorly. And being mindful is about being present and being in the moment, and offering your loved ones your love and attention and care, you know, and not going, which I often do because I'm doing a bunch of things. So I, you know, often have to remind myself of this as well. and being mindful can be hard because we're so used to having these busy lives where we're doing so many things, and so yeah, what I'm getting back to is relaxation techniques or calming techniques, soothing techniques, whatever you want to call it, distraction techniques, mindfulness or mindful techniques, and the coloring comes into that too, but it can also be a distraction, whichever. Writing stories can be good with the distraction techniques because you're doing something, and you're also expressing, so you're getting stuff out, which is great. And then that meditation, the breathing, that is fantastic. So all of those are great. What are your coping strategies? I just want to ask you guys, if you have to think about when you have a bad day, when you're angry, when you're upset, when you're anxious, when you're crying and feeling like, it's the end of the world, what do you do? Now, if you think of what you do and they're all negative things, then it's something to write down, to look at what you would like to be doing. Would you like to be doing some more of those soothing techniques, that meditation, the mindfulness, the distraction? What kind of person are you? If you can't sit there in your monkey mind, which I find super difficult, I'm like, stop talking to me, brain. I'm like, but I got that appointment I wanted to remind you of. I was like, shh, we're trying to be calm right now. I'm not trying to remind myself of my busy life. I don't always have a busy life. Often I just sit in my house and just ignore the world. So if you're that kind of person, if you're a busy bee, if you're someone who likes to get out of the house and get moving, distraction techniques might be the way for you. Something that involves exercise or cleaning or organizing your pantry. Oh man, that is awesome. I know I sound like the biggest mum here, but I was like, when I got those containers and I organized my pantry, I was like, oh yeah, it was like I had just finished an assignment. It was amazing. And I look at it every time I come in like some kind of egotistical maniac. Like I'm like, oh, look at that pantry. Oh. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to kind of remind you guys of. Just have a think about what you do. Is it negative? Is it positive? Do you think they're working? Can you add some of these other techniques into your coping strategies? I was once told that life is like a seesaw. It's like a seesaw, right? So we have our balanced life, and then something like COVID comes along and all of a sudden, it's off balance. And most people went through this. This is a super normal right now. And so these coping strategies, they just kind of put it underneath, right? I can't, gotta hold the phone at the same time, so that you have that level, right? So it's here, there's another thing over here, which is maybe your family, coping strategies on this side, and then it becomes level again. And that is what we're really aiming for. We're aiming to try and level up the score of life and our responsibilities and our stresses and try and get it back to this. And I mean, look, everyone has their own personal journey and they've got their own personal struggles, and I totally get that. And if you guys want to message me with anything specific that you're really struggling with, maybe I can, give you a bit of a list on something that might work, or even a service that might be able to kind of, help you. I do have a range of different information on, different strategies or different mental health, addiction, things that potentially could help you. But yeah, it's usually just something I can do just kind of once, just give you like a bit of a, this is where you could go, or this is what you could do, or, do you feel comfortable with this? And I would love to just kind of continue to counsel people and help them, with their problems and stuff like that. But because I'm working quite a lot at the moment, I can't really commit to that. So that's why I'm trying to say, look, if you guys want to message me once with a bunch of your stuff, then I can totally talk you through that and give you some kind of plan to move forward with that. And we can, check in again in the future as well, because I'm more than happy to do that. This next few weeks, I am jam-packed. I'm stressed about it myself. Anyway, yeah, so guys, I really appreciate you being with me last week when I was really having a moment. And even though no specific faces were there in the background, I know that you guys were there and you were there for me, and I really appreciate that. And it really helped me get through what I needed to get through in that moment. And I was able to reflect on the situations that were going on in my life last week and reach out and get some support and find out some, coping strategies to help me, and also get some logic behind those emotions, because sometimes our emotions completely take over and we just need to use a bit of CBT and just say, okay, is there something that's happening right now? Is there something that's going to affect me today? No. Well, what can I do to prevent this happening in the future? And it is really that simple, even though it's very difficult. It's like a double. Simple and difficult. And that is, I suppose, what life is, isn't it? It's simple to do these, use logic, but it's also difficult sometimes because our emotions take over, and we're human, and we're going to feel different traumatic things that happen in our lives, and that is okay too, because pushing it all down, it's just going to come back up, and sometimes it isolates us and we feel alone, and there's nothing worse than feeling alone with all of our problems, letting them stew. And I love stew, but not inside people. Okay guys, take care, have a great week. I just wanted to do another one so that you guys knew I was fine and I'm all good. And I love you guys, and I really want you guys to start using these coping strategies if you're not already, and have a think about you as a person. What do you use? What do your friends use? What do your parents use? How has that been? What have you learned from the people in your life that have got you these skills? It's great. Okay, bye guys.